Back out here, you're watching Live Impact News on WCNC+. I'm Jane Monreal. Just about 10:05, I want to take you out to Florida now, where Florida Governor DeSantis and Deputy Director of ICE, Sheehan, are discussing an operation, the largest immigration operation in Florida history. Let's take you out there live now on Live Impact News on WCNC+.
Continue to be safe. I'd also like to thank our federal partners, including CBP, the U.S. Coast Guard, ATF, DEA, the FBI, and the U.S. Marshals. This is truly an all-government approach set the tone by President Trump and Secretary Noem, and ICE is able to take the lead with these partners to be able to make this historic event and historic operation, Operation Tidal Wave, happen. Again, I'd like to thank Governor DeSantis for his continued support, commitment to the people of ICE and the people of America to be able to get this done. I'd also like to thank President Trump and Secretary Noem for their continued leadership and commitment to the American people. Thank you.
All right, and moving on, our great governor of Florida, Mr. Ron DeSantis.
Well, thank you. 4 years ago, we had seen something that we had never seen in American history. We had a president, Joe Biden, that opened the border and basically declared that people could come illegally. Interior enforcement was rendered basically null and void, and this was impacting not just the southern border region of Texas or Arizona, but communities all across the country, including in the state of Florida. And so 4 years ago, we were sending people to the southern border to help supplement state efforts to try to mitigate the damage. And our Operation Lone Star saw more than 1,000 national, state guardsmen, state law enforcement officers go to Texas to assist the state of Texas in stopping this border invasion. We also, being a maritime state, we are vulnerable to having illegal boats coming and bringing illegal aliens onto our shores. This was particularly pressing when you had issues in Haiti bubble up even more, and there was a lot of issues that people thought was going to lead to a mass migration into the state of Florida. We launched Operation Vigilant Sentry. We deployed more than 250 officers and soldiers from Florida Division of Emergency Management, State Guard, and other state law enforcement agencies to patrol Florida's southern coast. That was supplementing what the Coast Guard is already doing, but because of our efforts, we were able to bring about more than 17,000 repatriations and almost 500 vessels removed since that time at the end of 2022. And we worked together with the Coast Guard on that, but that has been a huge, huge positive for us. Of course, our state efforts didn't end there. We were involved in illegal alien transport, similar to what Texas was doing, so that sanctuary jurisdictions were having to deal with the issues that the open border was bringing to other communities. And we were really on the front lines of that all 4 years of the Biden administration. Enter the 2024 election and the election of President Trump again. Border security and immigration enforcement was perhaps the signature issue of the president's first campaign in 2016 and this one where he got reelected. So we saw an opportunity to have a much different relationship with the federal government as it relates to immigration enforcement. So immediately I instructed our state agencies to engage in what are called 287G agreements with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which basically leads to our state agencies being able to exercise authority in the immigration sphere to supplement and cooperate with the federal government. And we know that ICE had a rough run under Biden for 4 years. A lot of the things, this 287G program was effectively dormant. Certainly the task force model was dormant. So we did that. So you had Highway Patrol, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, Fish and Wildlife, all those agencies signing agreements. And I think you now have, I read a blurb that you have like 500 agencies, law enforcement agencies across the country that now have these agreements with ICE, and about half of those are in Florida, state and local, which we're really, really proud of. We're also, though, not just stopping with law enforcement. We've also done 287G agreements with regulatory agencies in Florida. Our Department of Business and Professional Regulation, Division of Alcoholic Beverage and Tobacco, the Florida Gaming Control Commission, and the Florida Lottery all operate in what we would consider target-rich environments. During their routine inspection and investigative duties, special agents are oftentimes in contact with people who may be in our country illegally. So we think deputizing those officers in regulatory spaces is going to be another source to lead to these immigration enforcement efforts. Now, when President Trump was preparing to take office, I called a special session of the Florida legislature because I knew that we needed policy in Florida that would require all state and local agencies, law enforcement, to participate in these efforts. We're not a sanctuary state. We ban sanctuary cities, but that just means you can sit on your hands. Yeah, you can't sabotage the efforts, but you are under no obligation to be on the team. We had to battle some of the folks in the House of Representatives in Florida, but we were able to get that done. And so now all 67 counties have 287G agreements with their sheriff's departments, and we're adding more and more police departments each and every day. So Florida's really led the effort there. Some of these agencies would have wanted to be a part of the fight. Others would have rather not have been part of the fight, but because of our legislation, they are all, in fact, a part of the fight. And this is something that's been really, really good. And there's been a lot of great enforcement efforts leading up to Operation Tidal Wave, but this has been the first of its kind throughout the United States. This is the largest immigration enforcement operation that we've seen in quite some time throughout the entire country. Florida state agencies assisted federal authorities to arrest over 1,100 illegal aliens across the state. That is a really significant impact, and we're demonstrating why we're going to continue to lead on this issue. And you see some of the people that were arrested there. These are people that should have never been in our country. Some of these people had been previously deported. Some of these people had been alerted on the Biden administration, but this is something they didn't want to have to do with it. So our folks have worked hand in hand with DHS to really, really make a difference for the people of Florida and for the people of the United States of America. Because I think when you're dealing with people, millions and millions of people here illegally, you see some of these folks who have huge, huge problems in their background, with their conduct, and really put our communities at risk. It's important that the law is enforced. It's important that those people are taken care of. But what it also does is sends the message going forward: the United States of America is serious about enforcing its immigration laws. So whereas under the previous president, you could pay coyotes and come to the border knowing that you'd be home free once you got there, there's a new sheriff in town. That is not going to be permitted. And I think that's one of the reasons why you've had the largest drop in border crossings in American history during President Trump's first 100 days. And so this has been night and day in terms of our state efforts, working with the Trump administration. I think it's going very, very well. That was not necessarily the case under the previous administration. What I'd also say is this: we have the best emergency response team in the country. Our state agencies are very versatile. We have both a National Guard and a State Guard who are used to responding to different types of contingencies. We're ready, willing, and able to take it to the next level. We have submitted plans to DHS to say, if this is approved, we will go off to the races, and we will be able to do really from soup to nuts, from apprehension to detention, even putting some of our people in the National Guard in line to serve as immigration judges to process this. We can do it. And I'd also say, you hear a lot about due process. We have tens of thousands of illegal aliens in Florida at a minimum that have already been issued final orders of removal, and there's hundreds of thousands of them throughout the United States of America.
You're watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. As we are taking live right now, Governor DeSantis of Florida speaking on the largest immigration operation they have there in the state, in Miramar right now. That's near Miami. Top right-hand side of your screen is an event taking place in North Charlotte. It is the Scam Jam, dedicated towards seniors because they're trying to educate seniors, spotting those red flags of a scam or fraudulent activity. Some scams are costing a lot of seniors more than $3 billion a year nationally. So that event for seniors. And another live picture of the astronaut walk. It is a spacewalk underway just outside of the International Space Station, just running some station upgrades for the next several hours. You're watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus.
Thank you. Good morning. The first thing I want to do is follow Governor DeSantis with thanks to our federal partners. Thanks to our federal partners for placing their trust in us. Thanks to our federal partners for reposing their confidence in us to be one of what is the first of its kind partnership in the mass deportation immigration enforcement setting. We are very grateful for that. 100 days ago, the President of the United States, upon his inauguration, declared a national emergency. He ordered, and when I say you all, I mean my federal partners here in this room, he ordered you all to secure our borders, and he ordered you all to deport over 15 million illegal aliens who had invaded our country and infiltrated our communities. And I say this vicariously proudly for you all. I used to be with the Department of Justice, so I have some federal DNA that still runs through me. I am so proud that you all, our federal partners, in about 7 weeks, effectively, functionally secured our national borders and restored our national sovereignty. Yesterday, I saw President Trump presiding over a cabinet meeting where Secretary Noem took it out several decimal points that as of yesterday, at least, the border is 99.99, and maybe she went on for some more, but effectively secured. So job well done, and it's an honor to be your partner. But, and by the way, I should mention, I spent some time on the Texas border, and over 60% of the folks, the illegal aliens that invaded this country were headed to Florida. So a special thank you from Florida to President Trump and Secretary Noem for that great accomplishment of securing our border. But the transition and focus now is on what I understand to be the largest deportation campaign in American history. Millions and millions of people embedded, illegal aliens embedded in the heart of our country, and that is a huge task and a huge undertaking for any organization. What a lot of people don't know, given the size and the power and the authority of the federal government, that when it comes to law enforcement, federal law enforcement is really only about 15% of all the law enforcement in this country. 85% of the everyday regular law enforcement in this country is at the state and local level. In order for the federal government to carry out its mass deportation mission, it absolutely has to have not just the kind of passive, yeah, we're with you, support and assistance, but direct engagement, leaning forward, ready to assist, hand in hand. Our governor in Florida recognized that within a week, I think, Governor, of President Trump's inauguration, and called the special session of the Florida legislature, where everybody in Florida combined, the legislature, the governor, all the members of the cabinet, said, we are lockstep with you, Mr. President. We are there 100%, every bit of the way, leaning forward, 287G, the whole works. So to leave my thanks for my federal partners at the moment right now, thank you for reposing your trust and confidence in us. And Florida looks forward to being the bellwether, the blueprint, the prototype of how state and locals work with their federal partners to make things happen and get things done in all settings, but in this instance, the mass deportation setting.